We are in Amsterdam and we're taking a look at this awesome retro game store called Game Over. It is an Aladdin's treasure trove of wonderment with consoles, vinyls, CDs, figures, mirrors, and much, much more. We're also going to be taking a look at the chain of Game Mania, which is a little bit like GameStop in the US or Game here in the United Kingdom and in fact across Europe. But enough about that, because right now we're having a look at some Sega Mega Drive goodness. Now, everything was in alphabetical order, and you can see on the spines, which I thought was a nice touch, the prices, and it actually said if things were tested. Now, I think that's really, really important, because for me, I would have hated to have purchased something and got home and it not work. So for me, as a foreigner here, knowing that something was tested and worked really had like a good vibe for me to go, actually, I want to buy that. You've already seen in the intro that I picked up a Dutch SNES variant, and in this video as well, I'll show you everything else and exactly which variant I picked up. Now, we've got lots of Tamagotchis, and there were some calculators and just various other bits of geeky wares. I want to just kind of point out a few things, a few observations that I picked up in a short second, but let's enjoy some figures next. Really cool to see these shiny, nice figures. I did pop a load of pictures over on my Instagram as well if you're intrigued. It's just the Gebs24 on Instagram. Come on over there and check it out. I didn't actually buy any figures, but I did go back a second time, and I've stitched that footage into this episode as well, because every time I go into a store, this being the first time, I always see things and want to go back. Right then, my beloved Super Nintendo and Super Famicom. Not a massive range, to be absolutely honest with you, but I did pick up 3 games out of this cabinet. The third game I picked up, I picked up on the second round. Some N64 as well, again, quite common in terms of titles. Prices weren't too bad. I did think that some of the prices, for example on the game guides, which you'll see later, were very, 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 very expensive. And there were some Game Boy Micros as well that you'll also see for €299. Again, I thought that was a little bit on the top side, but I am a firm believer that if you don't want to buy something, you don't have to buy it. I mean, ultimately, I was happy to support these guys. It's a place that's been on my list and on my radar for about 6 years now, and I was finally happy to get out there and have this awesome experience. So the game guides, here we are, a very select few. You can see the Metal Gear Solid one, for example. I do believe that was either 85 or 95 euros. So the game guide game is quite strong, way out of my price range though. One of the more fruitful selections was the Game Boy section, both on the boxed and unboxed front. In fact, I've edited this back and I've noticed that there's a game that I wish I'd have picked up, but unfortunately I didn't. I'll show you it as soon as we get to it. And I've had a quick look on eBay, and there's a boxed copy for €24.99 and it was only €12 in here. So I'm really, really seething at that. But when we get to it, I'll let you know exactly which title it is. That juicy title is there. Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed on the GBA. Couple of boxed copies in there, looked really nice. In fact, a crushed boxed copy went for about £1.32 on eBay yesterday, and unfortunately I missed out on it because I forgot about it. Damn. It was very nice to see a lovely, healthy selection of PlayStation 1 games, again all in alphabetical order. And I just love that, again, the prices on the spine, dead easy to find, dead easy to kind of spot. There was nothing on the PS1 front that I wanted. Obviously I went into this knowing that I wanted to focus my attention on the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom. There wasn't much by way of Sega Saturn 3D Omega CD, so the more kind of obscure games weren't there. But here's the SNES I got.
Mm-hmm.
Is this complete? Is this totally complete?
Oh, let's have a look.
No, it's just such different box art. It's so nice. I love it. Oh, look at that.
Those really yellow, aren't they?
Yeah, there's no manuals. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like these. Yeah.
Maybe there's some manual under it. I'm not
Oh,
quite
right,
sure.
okay. Oh, yeah. So there's all the kind of paraphernalia
Oh, that's cool.
in there. Oh, look at that. I just don't know how to get it in.
I know.
You know what I mean? Because I think the box art is like really, really nice.
nice,
It
isn't
is really, like, you don't.
Yes, the Super Mario All-Stars Dutch variant, a very different box. I mean, over here we have the bright yellow box, and over there obviously you saw what colour it was. Very, very different, but very, very cool nonetheless, and quite sentimental to me, as the All-Stars variant was my very first Super Nintendo console that I ever owned when I was a little girl. So it was really nice, and shout out to my awesome bestie Sarah, because it was actually her that spotted it behind the till. So a little bit of PS Vita and PSP stuff back there. Very slim pickings on the Sega Dreamcast front. You can see as well, there's a few Japanese Dreamcast games. Now, I definitely wasn't in the market for PS4 games, but I wanted to show you guys what selection we were dealing with nonetheless. So we'll let the remainder of the music play out, we'll take a little bit of look on the PS3, then we'll head back to the hotel before going out again to Game Mania. Here's the first little leg then. We got NBA Live 96, NBA Live 97, and of course my Super Mario All-Stars variants. We are of course back at the hotel. The box isn't in the best condition, but it is what it is. I am still very, very happy with this purchase. I did pick up additional things, and again we will summarise later in the video exactly what I picked up. It was also King's Day the next day, and on King's Day it's a big celebration of the King's birthday, and the whole of Amsterdam turns into a giant car boot. But before we take a look around some of the boot sales of King's Day, we are here in Game Mania. Now, I've obviously been to Game, living in the UK. I've spent a lot of time in America, so I've spent a lot of time in GameStop, but this was my first time in a European Game, if that makes sense, and I think out of the three, this is definitely the best. They had a selection of PSP and PS2 and original Xbox games in. Our Game, and I don't believe GameStop at the time I last went in, had any of those in, so it was really nice to see. They had a selection of trading cards as well. The staff were incredibly friendly. There were a very small selection of video game sales on, but I was happy. It was great. T-shirt selection was on point. Plushie game, as you guys can see, this is really cool. Typically, I would no longer film in-game. I used to do a lot of filming in-game here in the UK, but it gets very cookie cutter and samey. But I was itching to show you guys what the Dutch equivalent had in. So it's really cool to be able to have this shopping experience with you on this Dutch video game hunt. Now, I've had my eye on these Pokemon replica Pokeballs for quite some time. They retail at £99.99 here, and I think they were about that in euros. But I kind of saw them out in the glass cabinet and I didn't think they were all that. I think £100 is a little bit topside to spend on a replica, if I can get my words out, replica Pokeball. Let me know what you guys think. I'm keen to hear your feedback on that one. I recently got back into Pokemon Go. I'm quite a huge Pokemon fan anyway, and I missed it the first time round because I was kind of at that age where I drifted out of gaming for 2 years. There was like 2 years of my life where I didn't play video games, and it was around the Pokemon boom in the late 90s going into the noughties. Now, I thought this at €19.98 wasn't too bad. I actually, spoiler alert, picked this up. I've already streamed it over on my Twitch anyway. We did a little bit of GTA 3. It was okay. I enjoyed it thus far and didn't really encounter many groundbreaking bugs. I know that Rockstar aren't in the best of books with us gamers at the moment. They're on a little bit of a cash grab. Personally, I think that the trilogy should have been subsidised at about a tenner, considering how much GTA 5 has made. It's in the billions, isn't it? So it'll be an interesting talking piece to see if you guys have any concerns or feedback on that. Let me know in the comment section. So quite a healthy stock of PlayStation 4 titles. There was some Xbox down the front, and Sarah actually picked up the Outlast trilogy for €5. She, like me, loves her horror, and I think she will really enjoy the first Outlast the most. And I think for €5 getting the full kind of Outlast trilogy was an absolute bargain. So congratulations, Sarah. We're eager to know what you think. And I said PSP, bit of PS2, great to see on the high street. Now this is King's Day. Again, a huge celebration of the King's birthday over in Holland. Very nice and patriotic, wonderful to see, lots of celebrations. And it just so happened that part of the celebrations are for the residents of Amsterdam to sell on the streets. So we did see a couple of video games out in the wild, and I thought that this would be a great way to document it. Check out this Atari bundle, guys. As much as the Atari isn't and never has been my bag, I'm showing you guys because I think it is damn cool. Some Wii games as well. Aside from FIFA, some pretty decent titles. We've got some Donkey Kong Country here. I owned these titles, so I didn't bother picking them up. I didn't find anything I wanted to pick up over on the kind of King's Day market stalls. But again, it's so cool to see. There was like such an eclectic mixture of books, toys, ornaments, I mean, you name it. I mean, we found some cool, cute things in here as well. And they were saying, look, that Donkey Kong fits on the cart there. So, everybody was really friendly and just really, really nice. I also saw these Pokemon cards that I pick up in a second. He wanted €75 for these. Now, for me, there's no way I'd spend that on Pokemon cards because I'm not that much like devoted into it. But €75, we left it. But before we go back to the Lady Lounge, here is everything I picked up on the trip. We visited Game Over in Amsterdam, and whilst it was a very, very expensive shopping experience, it was awesome to see. I've already been getting questions, Gemma, are there any more retro game shops in Amsterdam? To my knowledge, there aren't, but you can check out Game Mania, which you saw in this episode, which is a little bit like Game and GameStop. The bonus to Game Mania for me was that there were some PS2 and PSP games, and the prices were actually not that bad. The staff were also very, very friendly. So if you're in Amsterdam, make sure you check out Game Over. It was also a Brucey bonus to see some video game sales on King's Day. It's just basically like a giant car boot amidst many celebrations to celebrate the King's birthday over in Holland. We didn't actually know it was King's Day, but fortunately we got some additional experiences there. So that is the Amsterdam retro game hunt. We have a Dutch SNES, we have Tetris 2 on the Super Famicom, and much more. If you've enjoyed it, guys, leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you in some upcoming Amiga content that we've got drop in next week. Have a lovely one. See you soon.